Hello everyone and welcome. It's Coffee with Ceri.
Hi guys and welcome back. This is just me and a cup of coffee and an opinion on a subject that has come to my attention maybe because of social media or a show I've been to, just general day-to-day getting through life. My aim is not to offend anyone, and if you don't like the subject, please just click off the video and go to another video, because I don't want an argument. I don't want negative comments. I just basically want to raise a topic to let us think about it, maybe have a bit of a friendly discussion. It's just my view and my view only. So today's subject, good food practices. Okay, now I'm not talking about restaurants and cafeterias and the food wagon you see at a fun fair or that is hopefully being dealt with by food and hygiene establishments around the world, who hopefully there's licenses and testing, which I know there is because I'm a baker and a confectioner and I've worked in the food industry for many years. There are criteria they have to meet. There are spot checks. Granted, some of those things do slip through the net, but hopefully there's enough in there to hold things and us safely. What I want to focus on is good food practices at home. Now, if you're cooking or baking for you and your immediate family, then maybe some of the things I'm going to discuss are acceptable to you. But if you're having friends over for a dinner party, or you're baking for maybe a fundraiser, or you're going to a party and you're taking food with you because each of you is contributing, if you're entering a baking or a cooking competition, and here I put my judge's hat on, these are things you actually need to be considering. If you're someone who makes cakes for people and decorates them, because obviously I said I'm a baker and confectioner, I have lots of friends who actually run what I would call a cottage business or a business at home. There are certain practices that are not okay. So let's just do a few things. Okay, if I'm going to bake or cook, whether it's for my family or anyone else, first things first, I wash my hands. Really, why wouldn't you? If I'm going to be handling raw things, like if I handle pork or chicken or meat or fish, onions, garlic, basically if I'm handling any raw ingredient that's what I would probably say a wet ingredient, so there's a juice or a water involved with it, as soon as I've actually done that, I get rid of the container it was in, whether it goes into a washing up bowl or whether it's a plastic one that goes into the recycling bin, wherever, and I wash my hands because I don't want to cross-contaminate something somewhere else. If I'm cooking and I want to sample it, I will get a teaspoon or a spoon out of my cutlery drawer and I'll take a bit out and I'll sample it. And then that implement goes into the washing up. You don't double dip. Because if I'm cooking a meal for somebody, I would be mortified if I thought I'd gone to a party and the person had been using the same spoon all the time, so whatever's in their mouth is now in there. To me, that's pretty damn gross. If you're baking a cake, yeah, it's fine. If you want to lick the bowl, that's fine. But you lick the bowl after the cake is in the oven. You don't get the spatula. So if I got something up, let's pretend this is a spatula. So I've cleaned the bowl down and I've done that and put that in my mouth, and I've done it more, and then I've actually rubbed the stuff off into my cupcakes or something. That means whatever is in my mouth is on my finger on there, and they are now in the cake. To me, that's pretty gross. I wouldn't want that happening. If you're preparing drinks for someone, you don't say, let's use it, say I've made a fruit punch and I poured some of a glass of fruit punch and gone, ooh, I've overfilled that a bit. Let's take a sip out of that. That'll be fine. And then give it to them. Bad. Other food practices. Now, most people use common sense with this one. However, I'll say it because maybe there isn't. If you've got anything raw in your refrigerator, it should be on the bottom shelf, not the top shelf. Because say you've got something that's already cooked on your bottom shelf and you've got, say, chicken portions or maybe meat or mince or something that has a liquid to it on the top shelf, and it drips down and drips into your already cooked products, you've just contaminated them. There's bacteria in there that would naturally have been killed in the cooking process, although it's not now, and then you make a sandwich of that. Potentially, you could give yourself food poisoning. So, and I know I'm sounding really alarmist, but I think it's worth considering and thinking of these things. It's like I have a friend who likes to make brownies for people. Now, when you cut brownies up, it's a messy process because they're meant to be deliciously gooey and sticky, and in the middle is lovely. So if you're cutting them, as you're cutting them, the knife will begin to gather up bits of brownie mix. You don't do this and put it in your mouth, and then when it builds up, do that again. Really, scrape it off on a tin or a glass or a jar or something to get it off there, or get a bit of kitchen paper or a kitchen towel and wipe it off. You don't need to put saliva onto whatever you're cutting with. I think because of the whole pandemic thing we went through, there's been a lot more awareness of contaminating things by touch. And I'm all for that. I'm really pleased that's happened. However, we need to be really, say I went to the gym, highly unlikely, I stopped going to the gym years ago. If I have a water bottle at the gym and I drink from it, and someone else says, oh, can I have a swig? Pretty much the answer is no. I'm sorry, that's my water bottle, and the top of that drinking vessel is going into my mouth. I don't think so. Either bring your own or go and find a water fountain. Not wanting to be ungenerous, but really, I would never, ever ask someone for a swig out of their bottle of juice or beer, or I wouldn't even ask to drink out of someone else's cup or their glass. Because you just don't know, do you? And a lot of the things like bacterias and viruses and food contamination and bacteria especially, they're invisible. You don't see them. So just be really cautious, guys. Just think about things. It's like how many times, and I see this happen all the time, and I'm not sure whether I'm edging on a subject that maybe I shouldn't hear. How many times have you seen a mother or a father feeding a baby, and they'll give one spoon to the baby and then one spoon to themselves? Then they'll scoop another spoon out. One spoon to the baby, one spoon to themselves. Or if the baby doesn't want it, they'll eat the bit off the spoon and then use the same spoon for another bit. Do you know what bacteria you've got? Do you know what you may be transmitting to that child? And granted, I'm sounding alarmist here. I fully understand that. However, we don't think about those things, and maybe we should. It's like if I've been cooking meat or fish, before I do anything else, so when it's in the oven or when it's in the pan or it's boiling or it's frying, it's slow cooking, whatever, I will wash down all the surfaces that I have been in contact with whilst cooking. Yeah, it sounds a bit paranoid, but then I come from a catering background, because I'm probably most paranoid about the juice that comes with chicken, because I know how hard that can be. It's like with shellfish, that's another one. Yeah, you've got shellfish juice and you splashed it onto your work counter and it sits there. And maybe it's worked into one of the cracks in your work surface where there's two work surfaces joining. Yeah, maybe a bit paranoid, but maybe I'm not being paranoid enough. So just think about it. Just when you are next cooking or baking, just be aware of what you're doing. Okay, another one I've seen happen is, when you buy cupcake cases, and they're usually quite tight together, and if you can't get them with your thumb to scag them to pull them out, I've seen people do this. And they'll put it on the edge and they'll almost switch it like that with their fingers to raise it up a little bit. Thank you for putting your saliva on the inside of the cupcake case that you're now going to bake a cupcake in, and you're going to decorate it, and then you're going to give it to me to eat. Thank you very much for that. That was lovely. Hint of sarcasm there. But do you see what I mean, guys? Just think about those things. I know this was a bit more the cakey, foodie sort of industry I was aiming at. Well, not even industry. Line of thought I was thinking about, but it is worth thinking about, and it is worth considering, because we've got very comfortable with certain habits, and maybe we now and then need to take a little look and check on them. So hopefully it's not offended anyone. Hopefully it's made you think a little bit. Maybe a little more conscious the next time you do that party for someone, or you throw dinner for somebody, just thinking a little more about how you do stuff. Okay? Have a good one, guys. Till next time. Bye-bye now.